I'm Dr. Joshua Austin, sitting in this week for Dr. Datola, who is eating babies with dingoes in Australia.
That's terrifying. And I'm Megan Strong.
On this week's Case of the Week, a doctor goes digital and analog, and it's a good thing he did both.
And in the news, we visit Texas, his birthplace, home of amazing barbecue, and a stupid criminal. All that and more on today's Chairside Live.
Howdy, welcome to episode 146 of Chairside Live. I am Dr. Joshua Austin, sitting in for Dr. Mike Datola while he is playing keyboards on the new Minute Work Tour in Australia. Megan, how are you?
I'm doing all right, rocking and rolling. You know how it goes.
Yeah, your hair's looking good.
Thanks, a little bit better. We had one appointment to try to fix it. Didn't go as planned, but now my hairdresser, who's my normal hairdresser, who didn't do this tragedy, is coming back from maternity leave, so I have an appointment at the end of August.
Okay.
So it'll just stay tuned, people. We're gonna go back to normal.
I was curious why you would choose to do something drastic to your hair, why your regular maternity girl or why your regular hairstylist is out on maternity leave. That would be similar to like a patient going into their dentist for veneers as soon as their dentist went on vacation.
Right, in someone's garage. Yeah, you know, it's why is the sky blue? Why is the grass green? Why did I choose to do that? All questions to ponder.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we have a great case of the week this week where a doctor took a digital scan of a case and then took a PVS impression, and it's a good thing he did. Let's go take a look at that now. On today's case of the week, we're going to discuss a doctor who did a digital scan, wasn't quite sure about part of it, and then took a PVS impression to confirm the margin. And so he sent both of those in, and we're going to take a look at those right now. So what you're looking at right now is an occlusal view of the digital scan. And one thing I noticed when I look at this as compared to, say, this screenshot is how smooth this is compared to this. And part of that has to do with the scanners. So this was done with an intraoral scanner that produced an STL file that was then uploaded. And as they convert that into the 3Shape software that we use here, it caused some of this sort of visible distortion, but it's really just it doesn't look quite as smooth, and it makes it a little bit harder to read. Versus here, this is a scan of an actual stone model where the die has been trimmed and whatnot. So this is a little bit smoother, but most scans come out looking like this as compared to this. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It just doesn't look quite as smooth. And so the doctor was a little unsure of the margin, and so when you look at this, it's pretty easy to see the lingual margin kind of right in here as we come around. The distal margin, my guess, is where that was a little bit fuzzy for him, and so what the lab did is they went ahead and made a 3D printed try-in crown for this. This was going to be an Emax case, and then they tried it on the stone model. And so if we look at the stone model here, this is die trimmed and whatnot, and on that stone model, the margin was a little bit short. So scanned the model and decided to make a new crown from the model. If you can look here, you see how clear this margin is here versus how it is on this digital scan, and so that made the life of the technician a little bit easier in making that crown. When we move on here, there's a couple other things that we see. Here's a nice view from the palatal or from the lingual of this preparation, and you can see we have something going on here on the distal of this canine, and then a really nice flattened plane here on the mesial of this premolar. And whether or not this damage was caused iatrogenically during the preparation of this crown, or if this is previous damage, the biggest problem that we have here is it's going to be very difficult for the technician to make a nice good contact here interproximally between the crown on this tooth and this tooth. And so what's going to happen is, number one, we're going to have a nice sharp point contact, if we have any contact at all, and that's going to trap food. that can be anesthetic, it can be a decay problem for the patient as they have a plaque trap there. It would have been very easy at the time of preparation for the doctor to fill this in with some composite. Up until a few years ago, I would have said just normal composite, but now we have some of these very low viscosity flowable materials, like Beautifil by Shofu, which is a non-slumping flowable that would be really easy to just kind of flow in here and just really bring this contour back out. Same thing over here, so that the technician can have a nice interproximal contact. It's going to make the patient's going to like this crown a lot better without worrying about getting broccoli or asparagus or spinach stuck in there every time they eat. And if you have a good interproximal contact, there's less chance of getting recurrent decay down here at the margin as plaque just sits there and the patient has a hard time cleaning that out. You can see it's not quite as sharp here as it is in the digital scan. This is the scan of the model, but you can see definitely that we have a nice negative area there, and that's just going to be impossible to get a nice interproximal contact on. The prep is very good. The prep is nice. We got plenty of reduction all the way around, a nice thick margin, which makes it easy to do a good Emax here. But really, this is going to be really hard to do a good contact here. So, spend the 2 or 3 extra minutes that it takes to build this out a little bit here and here, and it's going to make the technician's life easier. It's going to make the patient's life easier. It's going to make your life easier, when you go to deliver this, and then, subsequently, when you see this patient on recall, you're not staring at that every time, and your hygienist isn't digging stuff out of there, for the next few years. Here's another image of the digital scan, this time from the buccal. And you can see here, not only is this going to be a functional issue with getting a contact here, this could be an aesthetic issue. If you look at this, this is going to produce a nice negative space here, that's not going to be all that appealing, and it's going to always show plaque and always show food particulars and whatnot in there. So here it is. A scan of the actual model. You can see how much smoother this looks, and again, same thing here. Nice negative space there. So, investing in a few minutes of taking some composite and filling in these contact areas here, and we can really get a much better result on this crown. But again, this is a nice case, nice preparation, just with a little bit of some ancillary things by fixing the contacts on the adjacent teeth. We could be a lot better. Good on the doctor on this one for recognizing the fact that he couldn't quite see the margin all that well on the scan and deciding, hey, let me take an impression too. And then that really gives the technician a chance to make sure that they get a crown right on the first time.
Thank you for that, Dr. A.
You're welcome.
Now let's go to a segment we call Viewer Mail. This week's viewer mail comes to us from Dr. Chris Pilato, and he writes, Dear Dr. DeTola, today my first case of minimal prep veneers went in. I have done many cases before, but they were full prep, and until I had seen you on Chairside Live in one of the Glidewell videos, I never gave much credence to minimal or no prep veneers. Anyway, my patient and I were very pleased with the outcome. I appreciate you taking the time to produce such high-quality education for dentists. Keep up the good work. I'm inspired to do more of these. Best regards, Dr. Pilato.
Well, Chris, I am, again, sorry that I am the one sitting in here to answer this question and not Dr. DeTola. He's in Australia searching for that perfect Shayla. So when you talk about no prep veneers, I think the key, just like anything, is case selection. The best cases tend to be the cases that have multiple diastemas. And when you have multiple diastemas, you can really sort of make a big difference on that without prepping anything interproximally. There's always going to be a little bit of prep, even on no prep veneers, even if it's just roughening the enamel, getting that fluoride-rich surface of the enamel off so that we can get a better bond. And sometimes on no prep veneer cases, we still need a little bit of prep here or there on a line angle. So, really, it probably in honesty is more minimal prep. Full prep veneers have their time and place, and that's probably a much more likely scenario for most veneer cases. But when you do have the right case for a no prep veneer or minimal prep veneer case, it can go very, very well. I think the key is to do a diagnostic wax up, and that can be done here either digitally or with real wax. You can do it in your office, any number of ways to do that, but that's really going to be the key to help you figure out how to do that. But I'm glad that case went well for you, and hopefully you'll find some more of those cases in the future, because I think it's a great way, very conservative way, to give people dentistry that they want. So Megan, I think we have something for Chris.
We do, of course, always. Chris, it is your lucky day because we've got 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Now,
and
I'm going to sign that as Dr. Michael DeTola, so this will be a complete forgery.
Nice, I love it. It's illegal, but we'll take it.
Very good. And I think we have a Bruxer polishing and adjustment kit, so we'll send that out to you.
Look
So
at you.
good on you, Chris, for writing in. Thank you, Megan. Do we have any news?
Yes. A Texas man is behind bars after police allegedly caught him stealing from a dentist office. Officers responded to a burglary report and found the 21-year-old suspect inside the building with lots of cash and dental equipment. Collins was arrested and charged with burglary of a building, which is a felony. He was also charged with forgery and misdemeanor theft of property, both from outstanding warrants from 2 different counties. Now, what terrifies me about this is you're from Texas, and
Right.
you're here in Newport Beach at the lab. Are you afraid that it might have been your practice?
No, I think I know about it by now. And I can tell you how I know it's not my practice.
How?
When they said there's lots of cash.
Okay.
Because I don't know, none of my patients pay with cash. It's
Right.
very rare for there to be cash. And if it is, it's $50 or $100. It's not
Sure.
lots of cash.
Yeah.
And you specifically said lots of cash.
I did. So I wonder, and by the way, now if I was a robber, which I'm not, if I was thinking, I'm going to go on a little heist here,
Right.
dental office, not my first choice.
Yeah, if you're going to a dental office, I would assume that you're looking for like the drugs that we would use to sedate people, or Vicodin or hydrocodone, any of those types of things.
Right.
I would see as being a target.
Now, I know that dental equipment is costly, but and most of it is heavy too.
Right.
So, like, if he had a bunch of it in his possession,
Sure.
so I'm assuming maybe he was carrying it in a bag or whatever, a gunny sack like the cartoons. Like, what could he possibly be stealing at that point?
Maybe a laser or something like that, or hand pieces, but he's got to fence that stuff. And so I don't know how he would know what are the expensive, pieces of equipment that are, light and
Inside
easy
job,
to carry.
perhaps?
Right. Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. Interesting thing. But
yeah.
he's got to fence all that stuff. And so, I think people are going to know when he takes it to the pawn shop or whatever,
Right.
Like, hey, this is a dental laser, like, he's not going to look like a dentist, I'm assuming, and so I don't know what his
is that?
plan is.
Well, it's
I don't really know what it is.
Right.
Right.
But
yeah.
how much can I get for it?
But
Yeah.
I don't think anybody ever accuses these people of having grand master plans when they rob a dental office.
But I just think it's like, there's a reason why there's that show, World's Dumbest Criminals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, just, I think that anyone who is choosing to steal is not, thinking logically, but it's like, come on, put a little thought into it.
Yeah. And he got caught on premises. He got caught at the office, so
Right.
it means he's not very fast either.
No. And he had 2 different warrants out from 2 different...
Of course he did.
Of course he did. Of course he did. And so justice has been served for the 21-year-old dental thief.
Maybe he should pick a different type of business to rob next time, like a dry cleaner, or he can steal all the dry cleaning chemicals and huff them.
Sounds like an episode of Breaking Bad.
You got another story?
I do. New research reveals that the megalodon, the largest known shark to ever have lived, had teeth with built-in toothpaste. The study found that the teeth were heavily comprised of fluoride, whereas modern sharks only have fluoride on the enamel of their teeth. Megalodon teeth were almost 8 inches long, much longer than those of any living shark today. They also had a revolving jaw that replaced teeth as they were lost, a feature today's sharks still have. However, the fluoride-containing teeth disappeared as sharks evolved to only have fluoride on the tooth surface. Now extinct, the massive creature is thought to have roamed the ocean from around 16 to 2 million years ago.
Megalodon, is that named after you?
Yes, that is my own dinosaur.
Yeah, that's
creature.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't think a shark's a dinosaur.
No, well, my producer James told me it was, and he's from Colorado and Polish,
well, he must
so I
be.
believe him.
Yeah, he must be. What I find interesting here, they said it's like having built-in toothpaste. It's kind of nothing like that at all.
Right.
So I didn't like that analogy, but I do.
That's
find,
what they said. Don't shoot the messenger.
I do find it interesting that the shark has, the entire tooth made out of fluoride, which would help it against cavities and things like that and help it stay in the mouth forever for a creature that only needs a tooth for like 15 minutes because it's got another one behind it. It's like being huge and bulky and strong and beautiful at the same time.
See,
so
it's a triple threat.
It's crazy, yeah.
What if we as humans had teeth that just replace themselves? We'd be out of business.
Yeah, we'd be out of it. There would only be oral surgeons to help kind of extract those teeth as they needed to move out. So
it's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm glad that isn't the case. The shark's toothpaste is basically like those little, when you see Shark Week and they have the shark bites the camera and you see those little like parasites that live in the shark's mouth that clean off everything. Yeah. That's kind of what I am for Mike Totola. Okay. I'm sort of just like the little fish that swims next to the great white, and I just sort of eat the scraps that he doesn't eat.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's what I consider myself.
That's good. Yep. But so I think this is interesting. Actually, there's been a ton of stories lately, not really, but a few stories lately of people, especially young kids, who've been like walking along the beach and they'll find these megalodon teeth, and it makes me want to find a megalodon tooth because it's named after me. So it's like,
I would imagine there's those fetch a pretty penny in the sort of antiquities market.
Sure. You'd think, have you ever seen the show, now I can't even think of the name of it, Oddities, I think is what the name of the show is.
I have not.
Well, they sell weird, like, preserved body parts and
that's
funky.
Weird.
Yeah, it's very strange. Kind of a creepy feeling, but when you watch the show. But maybe that would go, or some on like the animal black market.
Yeah, strange.
Weird.
Well, thank you for that, Megan.
Yeah.
That about does it for this week's episode of Chairside Live. For myself, Dr. Mike Totola, Megan Strong, producer James, the rest of the CSL crew, thank you for your time and your continued commitment to quality dentistry.
We'll see you next time.
A super shark with super teeth.
I got it.
Well, now you've forgotten it because you danced.
No.
Okay.
Dancing can sit right up here.
Okay.
That's how I remember everything. To help. And I do wear sunscreen because I don't want to get wrinkles and sun cancer, but sun cancer. Also
wow.
a new
cancer of the sun is bad. It's malignant.
Yep. Sun cancer, skin cancer, same thing. There's like little powdered donut fairies are over here just nibbling on mini little donuts all day long. Except you're not righty on the prompter. You're not leading me to the news. Come on, people.
Sorry, this is my first time.
No, well, my producer James told me it was, and he's from Colorado and Polish, so I believe him.